What's up, guys? So, surprisingly enough, I have not yet made a video of this obvious topic that many artists want to know about. And as a channel on how to paint with my time-lapse videos and tutorials, I owe it to you guys to share with you my take on how to improve your painting skills. Now, I am fully aware that I still have yet much more room to improve, as we all do, and are work in progress. We all start out from different times and situations in our lives. Some of us started since we can remember, like I did. Some of us start out painting in our adulthood as a hobby that helps us out in a therapeutic kind of way, and then rapidly improve over time. Some of us struggle to get better, regardless of how we started. Each individual is different, and our motivations can also vary as well. Let's start off with how I got started, and then later on I'll talk about how you can get better if you're starting out later in life, and some psychology about improvement and skill development. Here are some of my oldest paintings that I still have photographs of. I did these when I just started out oil painting, obviously. Say what you will about them, but these are very beginner level paintings. So, I've always been fascinated by painting, by creating something out of nothing. In kindergarten, I used to always ask my teacher to use the painting supplies. I enjoyed painting a house surrounded by trees and thought it was the most exciting thing. Fast forward some time, and somehow I still gravitate towards painting houses and nature surrounding them. Anyways, as the years went by, I always wanted to just keep creating, keep painting scenes with buildings and landscapes. The way I approached art was getting lost in the world I was making and having that sense of control over how I made it. I was inspired by video games and my desire to create an idealized world that inspired a sense of adventure. That's what primarily drove me to keep painting landscapes, especially in the beginning when I wasn't that good yet. It was just the pure joy of painting. I improved my skill in an organic kind of way. Most of it was self-taught. I wouldn't say I learned that much from the art classes I took. Just the basics like shadows, contrast, color theory, and all that stuff you're probably familiar with. I was always fascinated by the ways I can improve, how the lighting works, the details, the layering, the blending, all these elements I kept trying to figure out on my own. I spent time studying other artists and seeing their paintings, trying to pick apart what they did and try to copy their work. As I continued to improve, I looked back at the paintings I had done before and seen how I could make them look better. Almost every time I do a painting, I find a subtle way of improving something, however small it may seem. That's the way people learn many other things as well. It happens in an incremental way that can be slow at times, but it adds up over a longer time span. And now, to this very day, I'm still finding ways to improve in small ways with almost each new painting I make. Let me give you an example, because I don't like to speak in generalities without anything to back it up. The last portrait I did, that wedding one, which I did a video recently, I used multiple layers for the flesh tones to really bring out the life of the colors and maximize the colors in the canvas. I haven't done that before, because up to that point, I only used 2 layers. Now I use 3 or 4 with varying degrees of thickness. Okay, so now enough about me. Let's talk about you. Here's the thing, the psychology behind learning a skill is a broad topic. And of course, there's so many books about this that discuss motivation, practice, discipline, etc. So, first, I want to ask you, why do you want to get better at paintings? Is it because you want to do it for the joy of it? Is it because you want to please somebody? Or is it to spite somebody, to prove something to somebody? Is it to just be able to sell more of your artwork? I think all these motivations are good ones, even the one where you're spiteful and want to prove something. Spite is a powerful motivator that should not be underestimated and can take your skill, business, and other endeavors to a whole new level. I think if you fit into the category of just the joy of painting, which I think I would fit into, then I don't think that questioning your motives was ever really an issue. You and I both probably were so enamored with painting that we just kept painting, and we're always excited about our next project and what interesting new ways we can change our technique. We would improve at our own pace. If you just love painting and enjoy the process, finding ways to improve is as simple as learning from others by studying their paintings from teachers and from videos such as the ones I and many artists provide. Okay, so if you're the other type who has started out painting later on in life or needs extra motivation on learning how to improve, here's my suggestion. As you continue making paintings, try a slightly new way of painting with each one. I think that if you try too many things at one time, you're going to be overwhelmed and feel too much pressure to succeed or get better. You'll have a harder time connecting the dots and seeing the way the painting comes together. Also, expose your art to other people as much as possible. I'm aware that some people are hesitant about that, and to be honest, I don't understand why that's the case. Be proud of what you're doing, flex your stuff to the world, and see what reactions you get. And if people criticize you without anything to back it up, there's something wrong with them. Plus, that's my philosophy I use with everything in life, and I think you should too. Another good thing about social media is that over time, you can notice patterns with the feedback you get. You'll start to notice what type of paintings get more fanfare or get less of it. You will notice also which paintings have a higher chance of selling and which ones are a flop. Pay attention to your likes on Facebook and listen to what others are saying. And of course, filter it accordingly. The idea of getting better is not a solid term. It is a more formless idea that is relative to the individual and his audience. I don't think we as artists should ever be satisfied. We should always be eager to learn, and even more importantly, humble about it. I don't like saying that I'm great at this, or because that. I don't like saying that I'm great because it's just I'm exalting myself, and whenever I find myself exalting myself, I get into a situation that puts me in my place that humbles me. So it's better to do the opposite. Well, anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here. This is my own perspective of this, and I know there's professional coaches that know way more than I do. The one book I cannot recommend enough is called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. It delves deep into the psychology of improvement, has some philosophy behind it, and shows you why you lose motivation and interest in something, even if you're good at it. So check that out. As always, hit that like button if you found anything useful, and leave a comment below on how you're improving. And I'll see you next